How's it going, YouTube? Let's do another one of these Android Auto stroke CarPlay videos again today. I've got a unit that I've been given. I wasn't actually given it to make a video. The company contacted me and said, we've got a bit of a unit that we think that you'll be interested in. Can we send it to you? So I said, yes, you can. This one is more of a premium model. We've been on the channel up to yet looking at these really cheap ones. This one's aimed more of a premium market. It's got a little bit more of a premium price. It's not that expensive, to be fair, but this company is marketing it as a premium model. So I thought what we'll do is, instead of me playing around with it on my own, we'll get this out, we'll get it on the bench, we'll unbox it, we'll go through the specs, we'll get the shit Fiesta out, we'll fit it in the car, see how it runs, and then together we'll have a look and we'll see if it's actually premium and if the premium name's worth it, and if there's a difference between this and one of the cheaper models. So let's get it on the bench, let's get it opened up, let's have a look at it. Right, here we are, is the unit in the box. This is by CARPODGO. I'll put links down in the description so you can have a look at these yourself. This is the T3. This unit specifically comes in two different models, the standard model and the Tesla Model 3/Y specific model. Apparently the difference between the two models are the Tesla specific model has distinct power cables and mounts specifically for the Tesla. I'm not sure which one I've got yet. We'll find out when we open it up. As with all these units, these are basically an extended screen to your phone. So you can have your phone in your pocket, these sit on your dashboard. Then you can use everything in your phone via CarPlay or Android Auto. Around the box, there's nothing particularly exciting. So what we'll do is we'll open it up. Inside, get this bit out of the way. We've got the unit itself. We'll put this to one side for now. And then, as usual, in the bottom, we've got all the accessories and everything. So what I'll do is let's pull these out onto the table one by one and have a look what you get with the unit. First thing we notice is we've got what's called a magnetic stand. If I open this up, on the back of the unit, this bit's magnetic. And what this can do is this can stick on here. Then we've got the usual sucker pad. This extends, you can tighten that up to lock it off. All the positions, so this can be fitted on your windscreen or wherever you so wish. That's one type of stand that comes with it. Here we've got another. This one's got some sticky pads on it. These little feet, they move around so you can get this at whatever angle you so wish. Once again, the magnetic bit will go onto this. Now we've also got one of those little sticky pads. This can be stuck to the dashboard or wherever you want. And then this bit here, this can stick onto it there. Also in the box, we've got a power supply. This is your standard pass-through power supply. It's got a little on-off button as well. This fits into your 12-volt socket with USB pass-through, with USB-C on the other end to plug into the unit itself. And this looks like we've got plenty of cable with it as well. So there's your power. We've got an auxiliary cable. So if you're plugging this stereo into your car via the aux plug, you can do that. Right, another auxiliary option is this one, which can plug into the USB of your car, and this one plug into the screen, and this is also an auxiliary output as well. Right, we've got a little 1080p camera. This can be used as a reverse camera on this loom here. We've got this red cable. This red cable can be wired into your reverse lights or a reverse signal, so it'll switch on automatically when you put it in reverse. Right, you also get this tiny little stick with it, which is for updating the software. It's not got wireless update, so what you do is you download the update onto this via USB, and then it's got a little USB-C on the other end, which you can plug into the unit and use this to update the software. Then we've got a bag with lots of stickers in and stuff, the usual operating manuals, and that's it in the standard edition. What we've got extra as well is this is the Tesla edition. So what we have in here is a little 3D printed bracket which fits into your dashboard behind your steering wheel, so the screen can be placed behind your steering wheel. And then we've also got a USB-C to USB-C power adapter with a little switch there to switch it on and off. And this is the main difference between the Tesla edition and the standard edition. And that's everything that you get in this box. So let's have a look at this main unit. Right, the main unit itself, let's just take this off. The feel of the unit itself does feel quite premium, it's quite solid and feels heavy in my hands as well. So in that way it does feel a little more premium than usual. On the back we've got a little magnetic mount to mount it. It's a shame it's not a power pass-through mount, so you can put the power into the stand and then just take this away when you want to, but it is a magnetic mount. And on the end of the unit there, this is where we've got all the sockets and everything. From one side to the other, we've got USB there, we've got a little mic, AV input, audio output, and your USB-C power input. And we've got two grills there for an internal speaker. Right, the specs of the unit are a 1920 by 720 700 nit display, so it's quite bright. 8.9 inches diagonally. We've got a display-only multi-Bluetooth connection, which generally all that means is it uses this for the display to do what you're doing on CarPlay or whatever, and then the actual sound output goes direct from your phone to your car stereo, so you can use all your steering controls and all that sort of stuff just like normal. We've got auxiliary output via the plug on the back, and FM audio transmission. FM transmission's not always the best quality, but it does give you an option if you've not got anything else. 5 GHz dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, and Type-C USB connectors on the back. I think that's about it, all we can talk about with the specs wise, so I think what we need to do now is take this out to the car. I'll get the shitty Fiesta out and let's fit it on the dashboard and have a look how it powers up and go through the settings and everything else and see what it's like, shall we? So I'll see you out in the car. Right, here we are in the crappy Fiesta. As I've said before in previous videos, this type of vehicle's perfect for these systems. The reason being is this has got Bluetooth and hands-free built into it anyway, so you get the best possible audio out of these screens, and it's not got the navigation or anything posh like that, so you've got none of the smart features that you get with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but you do get the Bluetooth connection. Most cars, if you've not got the Bluetooth connection, you've always got the FM output, which we'll have a look at, and this one's also got an auxiliary plug there, so you can plug your audio in that way. But these type of cars are perfect. So what I'll do is, I've got the little screen there. What I'll do is I'll sit it here just in front of this other screen, because that for this car is probably the perfect location. I think in the Teslas they've got it fitted here behind the steering wheel, because there's obviously none of this. They've got a great big iPad kind of thing, haven't they, there? So you can see the screen there through the steering wheel. So let's get this in position and see how it looks. Right, so if I was fitting this permanently in this car, I've got that mount, look, the one with the little bendy legs, and what I'd do is I would stick it down on there on the dashboard. Obviously I'd tidy up the wires a lot tidier than what they are, because you can tuck them behind this trim there, take them all the way around and hide them all properly. But for the purpose of this video, because I'm going to be pulling this out again later, I've literally just tucked them away just out the way, and this is how it would sit. And to be honest, how that sits there is perfectly fine how it is. It's quite low profile, so it's not taking up any of your windscreen space. This is my view from the height I'm sat at, so it's not taking up any of your windscreen space or anything like that. So I've plugged it in, I've got it all working. One thing I had noticed is I did stuff the camera just up there to show you what it looks like, but what I've noticed is it only works as a true reverse camera, which that means is this red cable here, I need to put power on it, because normally what you do is you wire this into your reverse light, and then when your reverse light gets power on it, that turns this camera on and switches that over into a reverse mode. So what we'll have to do later is we'll frig that somehow, so I can show you what this looks like. So what I'll do is I'll press this button here and that'll turn it on, and then we'll go through the startup, and what I'll do is I'll get this camera on the tripod and we'll have a look and go through all the menus and see how it all works. But that's how it looks on first startup. Right, there we have it. That's the screen as it turns on. One thing I did notice when I very first turned it on, it was all in Chinese. Fifth one across from the left, this is the settings. What it looked like when I first turned it on was that. This one here, this one at the top, that's Chinese, that's English. So all I did is click on that, and that changed it over to English. The first thing we need to do whilst we're in here, if I look at this Bluetooth on the left, you can see there Bluetooth name PND 36B2. So what I need to do first is get my phone, and we'll connect it via Bluetooth to that. So if I go to my Bluetooth, scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see there PND 36B2. So if we connect onto that, and there we are, that's connected. And as you can see, it's automatically starting up the CarPlay. We'll only have to do that once. If I click on car there, that takes us back to this main menu. From the left to the right, we've got CarPlay. The second one is Android Auto. It's pointless pressing that because we're not connected just yet. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. The third one along is our Bluetooth settings. It's showing there that it's connected to my iPhone. Next one along is some brightness settings, and you can see here on this right hand side we can change those. We've got a day setting and a night setting for the brightness, and auto night viewing time. What it's got there, it's got a little time that it'll change into that night view. Next one along is settings. We'll have a look at that in a second. Information, this just tells us the software version. You've got an option there for system update. As I said before, we've got that little memory stick, and then that'll update the system from there if we go to their website and download any system updates for it, and a factory reset. Back out again, we've got the FM transmitter. We'll have a look at that in a second. Last of all, we've got the Bluetooth display only mode. I've got that turned on at the minute. So when I start my car, the phone will connect to my car stereo for the sound and connect to this display for display. If we have a look in settings, we've got a few things that we can change. We've obviously got date and time. Time zone, let's just make sure we're in the right one. Greenwich Mean Time, I'm in the UK. The time's automatically set to what our time is because it's connected to my phone. It's pulled that off the internet. So if we go through the menus on the left hand side, system at the top, which is what we've just looked at, language, time and date. Bluetooth, we've already looked at that. Display. There's a few settings that we can do in here. We've got the brightness, which we've already looked at. We can change this background wallpaper. As you can see there, we've got various wallpapers, and then we can set them as our background depending on the colour scheme of your car. We've also got a logo. As you saw when we first started it up, it said CARPODGO. You can change that to the make of your car if you want. So if I go across here, we've got a Ford one. Click Set as Logo, and then what that should do on first startup, let me turn it off. I'll turn it back on again, and it should give us the Ford logo. There we are. So it looks like a bit more of a proper unit now rather than an aftermarket thing. As you can see, we've got no names of anything around the edge of it, so you can't see who makes it. There you are, straight away it started up in CarPlay and we're away. That usually is the sign of any premium systems, that everything just works and it just starts up and you don't have to press anything. It's just straight away on its own. So if I go back to this screen again, if we go back into settings, back down to display, logo we've just looked at, CarPlay display settings. If we go down there, we've got right hand drive. I've turned that on because I'm right hand drive, I'm in the UK. You can turn that off and that moves those little controls that was here in CarPlay across to the other side. And then we've got a 60 frame per second high refresh mode, which just makes it a little bit smoother when it's operating. We've got that turned on. Next one down is sound. We've got obviously media, navigation and phone, so you can independently set those levels. So when your navigation person starts blurting out directions, if they're too quiet, turn it up. If they're too loud, turn it down, and then you can balance all the audios to how you want it to be. As you can see, it defaults back to this CarPlay screen all the time. Done doing what you're doing, you just carry on driving and it's always defaulting back to this screen. Obviously my default screen is the one to the left that shows all the navigation and everything, and I just leave it on there. Back into the settings again, we've got dual Bluetooth connection, which we've just looked at. That turns that on and off. If that's off, the sound connection will default back to your auxiliary output, or you need to set an FM transmitter. Right, Bluetooth connection is the one we're on now, which is this is the display, and the Bluetooth sound goes through the car stereo. Right, so what I can do is if I turn my ignition on, I'll move this little screen out of the way a second so you can see. You can see the little blue light is on there to say that my phone's connected via Bluetooth. What I can do is if I go to auxiliary, then any sound from my phone will be coming out of the car stereo. So any navigation directions or your hands-free or your music or anything like that will be coming through the car stereo via Bluetooth, and this is just a display. So what I can do, I can't play any music because of the copyright things, but if I go to my phone and pick one of my videos, when that plays, the sound from that will be coming out of the car stereo. So there you are. If I turn it up, down, that's the sound from my phone is coming out of the car stereo. Let me just stop this a second. So that's literally any of the sound is coming out of this and the display is coming out of there. So your navigation will navigate and you can control all your music and everything from this. If we turn Bluetooth mode off, click OK, it needs to restart. Now the Bluetooth mode is turned off, so if I start my video again, the sound is coming out of the internal speaker in this, which is obviously less than ideal. Let me just stop that a second. If I had an auxiliary cable plugged in and down to my auxiliary socket down there, then I could control the volume here and obviously on my steering wheel. That would be the same sort of quality that we'd get out of the Bluetooth, but obviously wired instead of wireless. The best overall sound that you want to get out of this is by the Bluetooth connection straight to your radio. Our next option, if you've not got Bluetooth, is the FM one. You can see what I've done is I've set up the frequency of the radio to 90.50, and if I turn that up, there's nothing on there, it's just static. So how that's set up is this radio's receiving at 90.5, so what we need to do is if we go to these FM settings, we need this to transmit at 90.5. So first we need to do is turn on the FM transmitter. If I turn up this, you'll hear the static, and if we tune this into 90.5, you should hear it stop. There you are. The reason is because now these frequencies are matched, so any sound now coming out of my phone or this gets transmitted via FM to the car radio. So if I once again go to my video and press play, there we are. That's via FM. So you can use that if you've not got an auxiliary or if you've not got Bluetooth. It's not the best sound quality, it's always a little bit crackly because it's an FM output, but it's there if you need it to work. We'll go back to settings, we'll turn off the FM transmitter, go back to dual Bluetooth connection, I'll turn that back on, that restarts the stereo system again. We're back on Bluetooth, so this is display only. And I must say this thing's starting up really nice and consistent. Back into settings. After the FM transmitter, we've got about, which we looked at before, and that's basically it. I've got an Android phone here that I use for testing these systems, so what we'll do is I'll start this phone, it's a little Google Pixel, and we'll connect to Android Auto and see how that looks. So first thing we want to do is go back to the main screen, we'll press the Android Auto button, CarPlay connected, do you want to switch to Android Auto? Yes, okay. Now it's waiting for the phone. Right, there we are, that's started up, so what I'll do is I'll pair this via Bluetooth to this screen. We're looking for PND 36B2. Right, so in the settings of this Android phone, we'll go down to connected devices, Bluetooth, pair new device, wait for it to pop up, there it is. Click on that, allow access to contacts and everything, yes, click pair, there we are, it's paired up now. And straight away, Android Auto connecting, please hold on. Right away, welcome to Android Auto, click continue, and there's our Android Auto screen. Similar to CarPlay, I assume. I don't use this, I use CarPlay to be honest. So if we click exit, go back out, there we are, second one along, Android Auto. One thing I did notice, as soon as I've shut down this Android phone, it connected straight back up to my iPhone and went into CarPlay on its own, which is quite good. And that's about it for everything I can show you on that. The only other thing we need to look at is this reverse camera. What you're supposed to do is this red wire here. You're supposed to wire that into your reverse light, so when you put it in reverse, this will give a signal out and automatically switch over to the reverse screen. So let's see if we can put 12 volts on this somehow and get this to turn on. Out of absolute pure laziness, I've lifted the bonnet, and what I'm going to do is that red wire, I'm going to put it on the battery, and then that automatically should switch over the camera, which will simulate us putting it in reverse and it getting power from a reverse light. So I'll do that now. Right, there you are. You get the idea, kind of. The camera's not positioned perfectly, but all it does is it automatically turns on that camera, and you've got the little lines where you can see where you're driving to. And it does all that automatically when you've got that red wire connected. And to be honest, it's not a bad little picture actually coming out of that camera. Right, and that's all the features of that little unit there. It doesn't do anything particularly complicated, but what it does do, it seems to do very smoothly and very nicely, which is normally a sign of a premium unit. The Toto unit that I've got in my camper van, that's their top of the range, and that's very, very similar how it works. When it's switching from one phone to another and one setting to another, it does it very, very smoothly. Some of the cheaper ones I've found are a little bit clunky, and you have to go through a few little things, and it doesn't always work straight away. This seems to be one of the systems that just flows, which is quite nice. So in that respect, for me, it probably is a little bit more premium than the other ones. It was a little bit disappointing for me that it came in Chinese, so I had to use Google Translate and the camera to figure out how to put it in English. At that sort of cost, you shouldn't really have to do that. I would have liked to have seen a camera button, so you can switch over to the reverse camera without it actually being wired into reversed, because not everybody with these units wants to go into actually wiring things up. The whole point of these units are like a plug and a play thing, so you just put it on your dashboard, you plug in some power and you're away. Normally if you throw a camera in the back window, you can press when you want to use it as a reverse camera, you press a little camera button and it changes over to camera. But this one, it's got to be hardwired in for the actual reverse camera to work, which is good because it makes it automatic, but it's not good because it makes it a bit more of a fiddly install for somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing with electrics. But overall, it does feel like a premium unit. It works very smoothly. It works very crisp and fast. I would recommend it for anybody that's got the bit extra cash to put towards getting something that's a little bit more premium. As I said, I'll put links below to the website where you can get one of these from yourself. I've not got any discount codes or anything because, as I said at the beginning of the video, they didn't actually send me it to make a video for them. They just sent me it to see what I think. So I've not arranged any discount codes or anything like that. What I will try and do is I'll try and contact them after this, and if I can get any discount codes for you guys, I'll put them down below in the description. But there will be links to where you can check out these for yourselves. And if I didn't need to be testing other things in this car, this unit I would actually leave in and be using it myself. So like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see some more stuff like this or some more of a randomness stuff that my channel seems to do, and I'll catch you guys again later. Cheers.